Hello, world. We have the pinnacle of our fine art career sitting next to us, Alinea, which stands for a new beginning. It is a paragraph punctuation mark, which signals new beginning, new conversation, new start, new paragraph. $40,000 pieces. Intricately cut, meticulously assembled. There's no adhesive. There is just piece to piece interlocking. This was the biggest sculpture I've ever worked on, ever created, ever assembled. It was the most ambitious art piece I've ever taken on. We depleted the well entirely with this. Financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. We went into negative bank balance for this. And then we came back and we had to pick up a job to keep going. And then it was just hard to keep the wind in the sail. We tried as long as we could, and then we eventually, we didn't lose interest. We just had to make energy decisions. And just because you take a break from your work doesn't mean you can't return. I still pick up small projects and still explore patterns, geometric forms here and there. But to solely dedicate a year of my life to something like this, I've not done in a long time. We talked about how we thought this is going to give us an opportunity. Somebody was going to see us, or something was going to happen when we were there. I spent a week with this piece at its exhibition in Grand Rapids at this event called Art Prize. We were in a very open venue, and I got support from so many people. So many people came out. And it was eye-opening to see people interact with it, people be mystified with it, people walk past it, but then come back and be like, wow, I completely missed this and I didn't realize what I was standing in front of. This thing is magical. Because it's like a tesseract. As you orbit it, it changes. In fact, when I look at it with my eyes, I kind of want to go through it with my hands. And what I mean by that is, like, imagine this on such a scale where, like, it's a jungle gym or it's like a living structure. I can see it as lighting, because when you shoot a light through it, it creates all these intricate patterns, especially with the added circle in it. I can also see it being a partition wall, because you can see through it, but it's just enough to where you can't, like, it creates this wall. I will probably have this in my house one day, either as a chandelier or a partition wall. Yeah. We have to disassemble it, sadly. We will be sorting the pieces, and then we can always create something new with it. In fact, we could even do like a little time-lapse video of it and put it out there, and just, maybe that's the fuel we need to go. There's a lot of love here. There's a lot of intricacy. There's a lot of precision. There's a lot of care and compassion in its assembly. We'll actually bring you in, and I'll show you all the different avenues. You can see that hexagon, that honeycomb look to it. And this is all based off of a truncated octahedron, which I'll actually point it out here. Which is based off of squares and hexagons. And that makes up a structure that can then be tessellated. And the hexagon is actually a negative piece. And it's implied. The only piece that we're really building is the square, which then creates the structure. And we've added this circle in here to break up the all the straight lines, to add a different, like, to add a curve in there. And then these pieces actually can nest right in on top of each other. If I were to make a secondary cube, it could sit on it. So it was the biggest project for my growth as a fine artist. And it burnt me out to the point where we had to join the real world after this, because we couldn't keep fueling this. And I don't do a good enough job to collect people like Pokemon cards to keep the ball rolling, because look at how much work this is. And I can either focus on this or, like, do this performance that kind of, like, makes me into a socialite. So am I really even an artist? I guess it's about finding that balance and then making people buy my art because I'm popular. never stuck, you know. But we just have to find the right approach. I think the next installation of my geometric art is going to captivate even more people. And it's coming at an angle where there is some type of sale. Because when I did this, this was strictly for passion. There was no trajectory to sell this. I was asked to donate it, which I declined because I wanted to spend more time with it, which would have been beneficial because let's say we put this at a library or some type of business. Well, people that walk in there, whoa, what's that? They then hear my artist statement. They then hear my, or they can see my social channels and have my contact information. And then that could have created opportunity. But we didn't pursue that route. We had to return home to continue to exist because when you overdraft your account, the scarcity sets in of how do I continue to exist? Yeah. Ultimately, it was a good experiment. And we'll probably do a time-lapse video of us disassembling it and then do like a voiceover. It's a little too hot this week to do this outside, so I'll probably try to do this indoors. Stay tuned. More on that tomorrow.